They were riding their bikes to school that day. Erin turned around and came back. I'm like, what are you doing? You're going to be late. She goes, I just want to tell you I love you, Mommy, and gave me a nice kiss.
Those were the last words and the last kiss Lee Smith and her daughter Erin would ever share.
I always tried to make her laugh every chance I could. She was definitely, the best kid sister I could have.
Whenever I said, all right, I want your picture, he'd put his arm around her.
Oh.
Sean Smith, arm around his sister, the day before it happened. June 5th, 1989, in a South Florida suburb. She was 8, he was 10. His, the little voice on the excruciating 911 call.
I didn't know my dad's gun was loaded, and I shot her.
Okay,
I didn't mean to.
Okay, listen. Who did you shoot, Sean?
My sister. I didn't mean to.
Okay, Sean, don't worry. Everything's okay.
Nationwide, there are no definitive counts, but according to multiple sources, 100 or more kids are killed accidentally every year.
In Miramar, near Fort Lauderdale, a hysterical...
Sean and Erin were home alone after school. Hunting for video games, Sean found the gun in his father's dresser.
I thought of it like any other, toy gun that I had because it looked very similar. I remember her backing away to the wall, and I remember at that point aiming it out the front window, and the trigger went off just as she was running out of the room.
She's dead.
She's dead?
Yes, please get my mom and dad. Oh, my God.
I remember picking her up and putting her in my lap and looking down at her, and it's almost like she wasn't there. You could see the light was just out of her eyes.
A tragedy? Yes. Unexpected behavior? Hardly. Everything that Sean Smith did matches, detail for detail, the results of a landmark 2001 study showing a potentially fatal attraction of boys to guns.
We put 8 to 12-year-old boys in a room where there was an actual handgun.
Dr. Hal Simon is a professor at Emory University Medical School in Atlanta.
It's a .38 handgun.
This was the actual gun used.
And that handgun was modified so that the magazine was removed and a radio transmitter was put in so you could actually know if they had pulled the gun with enough force to have fired it, then we would be able to monitor it.
That's pretty easy.
The
The boys were brought in groups of 2 or 3 to the room where the .38 was hidden in a drawer.
He had just taken it out of the drawer. He turns and goes like that. And
The university blurred the boys' faces and bodies on the video, but it's still possible to see them firing the gun at themselves and each other.
So of the 64 kids, 48 of them actually found the handgun, and 16 of the children actually pulled the gun with enough force that it would have discharged the weapon. When we looked at those that actually found the gun, almost half of those kids could not tell if it was real.
It could be argued that a child, shot by a child, isn't the only victim. Sean Smith got into drugs and alcohol, dropped out of high school. His mother's response?
I'm not going to lose another child. I'm tougher than that. I'm going to save him.
The birth of his son Dylan was what finally turned Sean around.
Now, you know what? You got to be responsible for another life. I was given a second chance.
Today, he manages an auto parts warehouse. Divorced, he lives with his parents.
I just finished it yesterday, but
Dylan lives there too.
The color was amazing on that.
I like it.
Lee Smith buys another angel every year around Erin's birthday. And finally, Sean can look at family photos.
So tell me, what's your favorite photo of?
Mine is the one where we're walking hand in hand to the beach.
Oh.
Yeah.
She was always nervous about going in the water.
So I would hold her hand and we'd go in.
Now he can remember his sister's life.